Welcome to the CEO Coach Show. I'm your host and coach, Rebecca Nesbitt. And if you're someone who is struggling to stay consistent on social media, if you're taking days to get back to direct messages, if you feel like you're losing a lot of time, then this is very much for you. These are the things that I feel like I suck at as an entrepreneur and want to do better. And I've put in place some really simple fixes to help me to overcome these things because they feel so huge and insurmountable. They feel like they're the biggest problems, and your mind will trick you and tell you that this is why you're not progressing, and it will tell you that you just can and you should be doing other things. And then you'll start to listen to people that are like, you should stay in your zone of genius, and you're in your zone of genius, but you're not making sales or content. And then they're like, oh no, but you need to have either someone else to do this or you need to be fully in that. And there's this pool between almost the feminine aspects of running a business and the masculine aspects of running a business. And I do believe that we need both, my friends. We need both. So if you're feeling like you're kind of being pulled apart by your business a little bit, then this could be a conversation for you. And it's certainly one that I'm excited to have because I think that some of those fixes don't feel easy, but they are simple to implement. So these are a few of the things that I'm implementing to help me out with social media, getting back to DMs, and figure out where my time is going. So let's run through them one at a time. First, if you're not consistent on social media, something that I put in place when I really wasn't being consistent on social media, I've been consistent for a number of months now, was I use this app called Todoist. This is not an ad, but it is literally my lifeline when it comes to my business. And I know that sounds dramatic, and I'm a very dramatic person, but this app genuinely helps me every single day to stay on track, to make sure that I get back to the right people on the right days. It has been a gift. I use it between myself and my virtual assistant so that we can stay in contact all the time and in real time. It really is phenomenal when you integrate it into your life and you use it in the way in which we use it, which is you literally tick things off when you've done them. If you have not done it, you don't tick it off, and you strive to get to a clear to-do list at the end of every day. So I post a reel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Todoist, and I've been consistent with that for months. But something that has always slipped through the net for me is posting to Facebook specifically about our YouTube channel and our podcast. I rarely, if ever, do it. And every single time I do, I notice the views and the listens go up. No one is confused because we've put it out in another place, right? I talk about it every single week on my stories in Instagram. I put it in every single weekly email that we put out, but I always just neglect this one place. Now, there could be many behind the scenes reasons, and I have considered some of them already. And I'm like, okay, I obviously have this natural little block going on with Facebook, which feels very strange. I literally went live this morning and was like, I'm here. So sometimes sometimes I don't understand it, but there must be something else going on. But what can I do that's really simple is I can use the same strategy I used for my social media posts to say, put this on Facebook today. So every single Tuesday on Todoist, it will now come up because I programmed it just before I recorded this. It will come up and it will say, share to Facebook. If you have come to this through Facebook, please let me know in the comments. If you are on YouTube, DM me at the CEO Crowd. If you're in the Spotify, I'd be so grateful to know, because I think that we all are always testing things and we want to know if they work. So please let me know if you've come from Facebook. That would really, really help me to believe that this is important for me to do and to continue to do. But that's something that it's a simple addition. It's something that I'm already trained. I'm already trained to tick off the to-dos. So I'm just reminding myself every week. I think as entrepreneurs, we hold so much information and think we have to hold all the information when we don't have to. We can actually outsource that to either a support team, a virtual assistant, or we can outsource it to an app so that we can keep all of these things not in our heads, but in our minds, if that makes sense, so that we don't drop the ball. Because there's nothing that I dislike more than feeling like I have dropped a ball. I don't know about you, but I love to feel like I've got everything under control and handled. That probably says many things about me, but brings me significant joy. So if you're not being consistent on social media, put something in place like a Todoist and see if it works for you. It might not, and there are 100 other things you can try. I just really prefer things that are simple. Simple for me to do, simple for me to integrate, an app that is on my phone and my MacBook that I can go between the two and tick off as I go. Oh, the dream. Thank you, the creators of Todoist. I don't know who you are. I feel like I should find out because I'm so freaking grateful for them. If I ever meet them, literally, I'm just gonna hug them so hard and be like, thank you. Anyway, moving on. If you get back to DMs days late, this is my freaking MO. I do a lot of work in direct messages and it takes a lot of my energy. I think a really common misconception about me is that I have all the energy in the world. I don't, I just have really good systems and Todoist. But I really struggle to get back to a lot of direct messages because I people a lot. I do a lot of people time and I really love time by myself. Like I love it, I crave it, I need it, I require it. So something that I've actually started doing, and shout out to Becky Pearson at Build with Becky. If you've been here for a minute, you'll have heard me shout her out before. Becky's one of my dear friends and an even dearer mentor. I'm so grateful for Becky and how much she's helped me in my membership business and just entrepreneurship in general. And Becky has started, by the time that you're listening to this, it will be a month ago she'll have started this, but she started a 75 hard for communities. And I'm like here for it because 75 hard, the actual version, I'm like, I understand why people drop off. Not 100% my vibe. But this I'm here for. So it is connecting with your community for 1 hour. It's celebrating someone in your community and it's creating time for yourself. Can we all just take a breath together at how joyous that sounds? Like, yes. When I think about things as time, I actually get a lot of joy because I'm like, it's only going to take me an hour. I get a lot of direct messages. I generate a lot of direct messages. So it takes a lot of work. So then getting back to people, like I know I have 3 messages sitting in LinkedIn that have been sitting there for days right now. But having this new 75 hard for communities in my business over the next 75 days, especially because y'all know it be selling season. Black Friday is coming up, Christmas is coming up, New Year's resolutions are coming up, not to dismiss Cyber Monday is coming up. They're all at this time, people are primed to buy. So taking care of your community at this time is so important. And also shouting out services and people who could be the right person for someone else makes a lot of sense. And if you were an entrepreneur that got shouted out, how would you feel? That's what I want to create for people. So yes to the 75 hard for communities. So again, something that is not going to be easy to do every single day, but it's a simple addition again to the Todoist, but it's a simple addition of it's 1 hour connecting with people, sharing love, sharing joy, hyping people up. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. So that brings me a lot of joy and is going to help me get back to my direct messages because I get a lot of messages in my DMs from my community. So it's going to be part of that time. Oh, just like sigh of relief that I now have a system because I felt like I didn't have one. And this has just really, really helped me in the past few days that I've been doing it, even though I have not yet reached LinkedIn, I will admit. And Third thing is if you feel like you lose a lot of time. I feel like the time that I lose is transition time, is going between one thing and another thing and another thing. And that's what I want to kind of mitigate. I want to be very planful about, for example, when I record these podcasts, I record them all in one go. And that just feels really, really good for me. But I don't do that for anything else. I don't do that for content. And I think that would actually really help me cut down the amount of time that I'm actually online sourcing. Sourcing is my word for scrolling. Sourcing ideas, because as much as I'm a really creative person, it seems to not translate perfectly to social media. So I'm still working on that. So I do scroll for ideas a lot, and doing that 3 or 4 times a week, it's kind of like when we meal prep, my husband and I meal prep every single Sunday. And this week was like the fastest meal prep we've ever done. I'm so proud of us. But we meal prep every single Sunday so that every single day we're just heating up food that we've already made. So we have home cooked meals every single day and we heat them up. And that takes so much less time than every single day creating 3 meals and doing the dishes for all those 3 meals. Whereas it's just so much faster when you're doing it all at the same time. And even if it takes, because in the past it has taken like half of our Sunday, sometimes our whole Sunday has been eaten up by going to the grocery store and finding the recipes, making the list, going to the grocery store, coming back, putting things away, keeping things out that you're making, prepping all your veggies, cooking all your veggies, putting them into different Tupperware, doing all the cleanup. Sometimes it has taken a whole day in the past, but we've got to this point where we've done it so often that we choose quicker meals. That's one thing. But we save so much time throughout the week because of that time we spend on a Sunday. Because if we spent that time every single day, it just takes chunks out of the day. And I'm not here for that. And also, I now work from the office. So welcome to the office. If you have not been here for like 2 months and seen the office, welcome to the office. I can't cook in our office. We don't have cooking facilities, so those things have to be made. So instead of spending every single morning making a separate lunch, it's very easy to just scoop from the Tupperware into the lunchbox, and just the ease, because we do the meal prep, is so similar to how I feel about losing time in transition of anything I do in my business. I would much rather be like, these are the 3 reels I'm going to post this week. Let's create them and then be done, and not have to worry on Wednesday, on Friday when it's like post a reel and it's like, I just don't want to today. Do you ever get that where you're just like, I don't want to do very much today. I don't want to create a reel. I don't want to show up on social media. I don't want to do my lead generation. We all get those days. But can I mitigate that? I believe I can. So I'm currently working on a new system of streamlining those tasks. So having that hour set for connection time so that I can do my 75 hard for community, having that time set for social media. How many posts can I create? I think that will really help me with this transition time, because I won't be going back and forth to my phone and not know what I'm doing, because that's something that really takes me out of the game. So I know that these things were quite nuanced. You might be thinking like, I'm not even consistent once a week on social media, or like I can't imagine being like for an hour a day connecting with my community. I don't even have an hour to run my business. That's accurate for some of the people that listen to this show. So I just want to highlight whatever little thing you want to change, what is the simple fix that you're maybe struggling to see because you're making it harder than it is. I shared a podcast a few weeks ago, and it was the best advice I've gotten from my friends in the entrepreneurship space. And my friend, dear friend, and previous coach, Lani Nalu, shout out, Lanny Spring now. Just she got married, just very exciting. But my previous coach, Lanny, told me, you're overcomplicating, you're making it harder than it is. She was like, I have one job, and that's what it is to tell you you're overcomplicating and making it harder than it is. And I feel like I've been doing that in all of these areas. So these are just really simple things that I'm implementing. So adding every Tuesday to post my podcast or my YouTube channel to Facebook, very simple ad, integrating the 75 hard for communities and keeping Becky up to date with how it's going will give me that accountability. So I'm really excited about that. And the transition time, implementing new blocks in my schedule where I'm like, I know I'm working at this time and this is what I'm working on, is going to be so powerful for me. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to go. But for you, it may look simpler. It may be 5 minutes of, connecting with your community. It might be celebrating one person a week. It might be one post a week. Don't listen to the people who post 3 times a day for 3 years and eat glass. I know I say that quote a lot, and it is a quote from a Grace Beverly podcast with the gentleman that runs the Lux Collective. So it is a direct quote. But I say don't believe them when they say that that is necessary, because if you can't even post once a week, then posting 3 times a day non-stop for 3 years just is too much. It's too big. It's too insurmountable. And I think that a lot of podcasts, motivation shows that you may be engaged in because of the nature of entrepreneurship, people are telling you, you have to do more, you have to do more. But you can also build to more. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. Like, everyone looks at the overnight sensation that was 10 years in the making. So maybe you're in your 10 years in the making, and it's a case of take one step at a time. Now, this is someone who's been, and I say this is me, is someone who's been doing this for, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 3 years now, and I'm still working on very small, nuanced things to get better. And that's how I built my business, is just incrementally doing things a little bit better each time. It's that 1% a day. And the aggregation of that, if you're like, oh, but Rebecca's so consistent and she does all these things, that's because of what's called the aggregation of marginal gains. My husband loves that phrase. And every time he says it, I always laugh. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like so fancy for what it is. And we always laugh about it. And then when I talk about it, I'm like, oh, he got me so good. But the aggregation of marginal gains is just over time, you will build all of these small gains into something pretty freaking magnificent. It's like if you go to the gym every single day and just try your best that day, you're going to incrementally get better and better and better. And your best is going to be, a deadlift at 65 pounds, and then it's going to be 200 pounds. And it's not that quickly, but it will go up each time because you'll be stronger. And entrepreneurship is very much the same. So if you have things that you suck at as an entrepreneur, I want to hear them. Tell me them. We'd love to go back and forth on this at the CEO Crowd on Instagram. And also, before you go today, I do want to let you know that we have Black Friday coming up and we have a VIP list already. It is very much a mystery, but featuring exclusive offers, only available for Black Friday and only available for the people on the list. So get yourself on the list, my friend. The link is in the description. And as always, what we always say here is, I will be over here. In the meantime, before you hang out with me again, believing in you and believing in your business.